welcome everyone to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host TJ, and with me again, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grump, how are you, buddy?
Fine, thank you. Yourself? A wonderful Sunday evening.
Oh, I'm not doing too bad, Grump. I'm not doing too bad. That being said, a lot of news, a lot of things upcoming here. Grump, you got some reverberation. Man, you got just bad connection or something going on right now.
It's you. It's your end. It's not mine. It's yours. It's your end. Don't ever blame the internet on me. It's always you. Okay. You're real good at blaming me for things, but it's always you.
Oh, is that what it is? Huh?
Always you.
Oh, okay, got you, Grumpy. A lot of news to talk about here. I guess we can number one mention U.S. men's basketball. Yikes. Two exhibition games lost to Nigeria and Australia, but not a good way. Not looking in good form as of right now. I know people are dropping out due to COVID, but not looking great right now, Grumpy Old Man.
Well, it just shows what a great job Mike Krzyzewski did as coach. I guess Greg Popovich isn't as great as everyone says he is. Hasn't won anything since Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker left. Hasn't won anything in San Antonio. He was Coach K's little gopher, his little clipboard carrier, and now they give him the job, and the team absolutely sucks. Good. I can hear the excuse train coming now.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I mean, okay, I love it. You listen to Kevin Durant, right? He's like, "Well, the odds were stacked against us, going, and we knew it was going to be rough early." Oh, really? Why? You're a whole team of professionals. You got beat by Nigeria and Australia. And what do they have? 3 NBA players between them? No, sorry. I don't want to hear excuses. You're not good enough. You suck. Get better.
Like I said, not good enough. I will say, the composition of the team kind of left me scratching my head a little bit. But, then again, a lot of players are opting out. But, man, you expect a little bit of better result. It's early yet. They're only exhibition games. They don't really matter all that much. You hope that's not telling here for the upcoming events, though, Grumpy.
I don't care if it is. I hope we lose. I hope the United States gets rolled.
Why is that?
You get tired of these whiny athletes just complaining. I'm just saying, you look at so many things. Oh, he threw a baseball at me. Oh, he talked mean to me. Oh, we didn't have everything the way that we could win. Oh, you know what? Suck it up. You get paid a lot of money. Shut your mouth and play the game.
Yo, stop, Grumpy. Look at you.
Get off your bellies like the worms you are and play your game.
I know you're talking about Alex Verdugo and the little issue in a situation they had there. Well, we'll paint the picture for you. And again, I'll make these comments up front. Should the fan have hit Alex Verdugo? No. What the hell? Grump, I'm going to kill you. But should Alex Verdugo, should he have reacted the way he did? Yeah, I kind of understand it. He was obviously a little pissed off. He got hit in the back there with a baseball. But it's weird to look at the issue and the chain of events and to kind of look how people are reacting now that the game is over. And you think to yourself, man, oh man, I feel bad for a few parties here with this. It's not all one-sided as, the media and the press is making out to be. This kid who threw the baseball out there at him should not have hit Alex Verdugo, but he is banned from every single MLB stadium for the rest of his life.
What a joke. What an absolute joke that is.
Yeah.
What a joke.
And
so what are they going to do? They're going to have at every stadium in the United States, they're going to have this guy's picture. 30 years from now, they're going to have, this is what he'd look like if he was aged out now. You can't let anybody in who looks like this. What a joke. He should go to the park next week. Go back and throw the ball. Go to Fenway and throw a ball at Verdugo.
Here's the thing: the guy, they're never going to be. I love when they always come out there and say, "We're banning him from the sports arena forever." I'm like, okay. It's one of those things where it's like you come out and you say, "We're doing something huge," but it really doesn't matter because guess what? He can walk into any one of those stadiums, and as long as he's not like, I'm the guy who hit Alex Verdugo. That's me. Nobody's going to freaking know who he is. Nobody pays attention to that. It's not like they're checking every ID going, oh, hold on. Oh, you're on our ban list. Oh, you're not allowed in the arena. You're not allowed in the stadium. I mean, come on, and I'll show you. I'll show you I'll show you what transpired there out there on the field, Grumpy. And I want to say it looks kind of like an accident, but I will leave that for the fans and the listeners there of the podcast to discern on their own. It looks a little bit like it was accidental. The guy hit him, I believe, from the second row. I don't know if he's got a cannon. I mean, it was pretty far back. I'll be honest with you. If he hit him and he was intending on hitting Verdugo, the guy's got a hell of an arm. I could not hit a player out there from that distance. Maybe I'm just not as talented as they are, but it was pretty far back.
Let's see it. I'm interested. Roll it.
Oh, Grump, I'm good. I'm expecting to have some sort of comment there as I'm doing that, because as I'm going ahead and buying time, I expect you to be able to comment.
I thought while you were talking that you were ready to go on that. Okay. Here's the thing. When John Rocker, a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, said something negative about New York City, he came to New York and they were throwing batteries and everything at him. And he was the villain. No one threw those people out of the park.
Oh, I got it there.
That was the response. That was the reaction that John Rocker got all in the 1990s.
Well, here's the thing, too. You look at how, again, I know they've changed out there, but it's not crazy to think that some fan has thrown something at a professional athlete before. They throw beers at them. I'm not supporting that type of stuff, but I think it's getting overblown. And the comments by Aaron Boone, the comments that are being made right now are insane. I will let you watch what transpires. Nobody actually gets to see the velocity of which the ball hits Verdugo. Nobody gets to see anything because all we see is the aftermath of what is being caused the stick in the outfield. So we don't actually get to see all that much there to it. But I'll let you watch here. I'll let you watch, Grumpy Old Man. And this right here, you can tell. Here's our fan. Let me go back to that. Here's our fan here who hit Verdugo, and
everybody else is
standing up.
Sounds like the Yankees should sign him.
Stop.
Maybe you can help them with their pitching woes.
Here's the thing: this guy is hit Verdugo, and look what's going through his mind. He's the only fan that is not standing up. He's just like sitting there. He's like, "Holy crap!"
Who's the ridiculous clown who's videotaping him? Who's the loser who's videotaping him? That's what I want to know.
Hey, I've got a problem when you say something like that, Grump, because
I don't. Not at all. Mind your own business.
Okay, Grumpy, everybody videotapes anything.
That's why they don't know what's going on in life. They're too busy videotaping somebody else doing something. Failures.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, we'll get through it here. Obviously, he's sitting there. He's I don't know if that's a Knicks hat or a Mets hat, by the way. On that, it's got to be a Knicks hat.
It's probably a Mets hat.
No, we can't. He's wearing Yankee stuff. He's not wearing a Mets hat. But we're watching everything transpire. Verdugo, and you'll see from another angle, Verdugo is freaking out, and we'll show the other angle of Verdugo. This is where he hit Verdugo from. I'm just telling you. I mean, what is that, Grump? That's at least 40, 50 yards away.
That's a hell of a throw. Like I said, the Yankees ought to sign him. He could help them out their pitching. He's got a cannon.
It was not intentional. Again, we don't actually get to see it, but I'm going to go out there, even if it was intentional, hell of a throw. I don't think it was intentional. I don't know too many people who can hit an individual not moving in a stationary item there from number one to stands about 40 or 50 yards away and make contact with somebody like that. I mean, it's not like, hey, we're playing catch and you can go ahead and throw it to the glove. I mean, it hit his individual self.
Maybe he was trying to hit one of those Red Sox fans up front and he overshot him and hit Verdugo. Anything's possible.
Yes, but they're pointing at him. Look at these. Get him out of there. Okay, he's shaken, obviously, because he was like, this is not something he intended to have happen. They hit a home run. They threw the ball back. Whatever. It's something they do. It's something, it's something baseball fans do out there. Was
it a Yankee guy who hit the home run? Look at this guy. He should have been cheering like, yeah, Verdugo. Oh, come on. Come into the stands. Verdugo, he's the cowardly worm that he is. Look at him. Oh, he wouldn't go up there and confront the guy. Wait till everybody else comes out. Then he's a tough guy. He's another one of those softy worms, millennials that I'm talking about.
No. You haven't even seen what happened yet, Grump. So you can't be making comments like that because I know you haven't, because I asked you if you saw this beforehand. I know you haven't seen it all, Grumpy.
I didn't, but it works for my narrative.
Oh, God almighty. I'll show you. I mean, again, he is pretty far back there. And again, I will say I think this is a little blown out of proportion with Verdugo here. He's freaking out. I understand you're hit with the ball. I would be upset as well. I had stuff thrown on me. People have had this shit thrown on them beforehand. I don't know. I don't know. He's freaking out here. And again, I think the reaction by Verdugo is the reason why it was treated the way it was. I mean, didn't Stanton get hit with the ball after he smacked one out of the park or something like that?
Fans throw stuff, and here's the thing. I'm not saying they should, but fans throw stuff on the field all the time. All the time. You know what? Anytime somebody throws something on the field, they're going to be ejected for life. I don't think baseball's got enough fans where they can kick people out for life, do they? But they're barely even a sport anymore.
Here's the thing. He's talking smack. He's being a big – I'm like, oh, come on, man.
There's number 40 saying, grow up, Verdugo. Maybe if you hit better, you wouldn't have to worry about getting hit in the back with a ball.
Okay, it was okay. Grumpy.
Verdugo sucks.
Here's the thing. Verdugo should not have been hit with the ball. The fan is unfortunate.
Hit him in the head. He can't even grow a beard. He's one of those kids who grows a bottom beard. What's the matter? You can't grow a mustache too? You got too much time on your hands, Verdugo. That's why you got run out of Dodger Town. Run out.
Well, it's everybody, you got certain people saying, oh, he's such a good guy. And, anytime someone says that, everybody wants to play devil's advocate. Like, hey, you had those rape allegations or those sexual misconduct allegations back in for the Dodgers. And it's always fun. Anytime somebody's name gets thrown up there, there's always going to be opposing sides here. He shouldn't have hit Verdugo with the ball. It was an accident. And the reaction here we're seeing, obviously he's infuriated. He doesn't know what's going on. But I think the reaction caused and spurred this, hey, you've been banned by every single MLB team out there. And he's over here like, oh, look at me, I'm so tough. My goodness gracious, man. Here's the thing. Why?
Yeah, now he's tough. Look how tough he is when he's got a whole bunch of people backing him up. See what I mean? That's exactly what I'm talking about. He was, 40, 50 foot away. All of a sudden now, I got everybody here. Now I'm good. Oh, hold me back. What's he got? Bad guy pro wrestler? Hold me back. Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy gets thrown out. He should have been the kid. He looks young. The kid should have been thrown out of the stadium. You can't hit players with balls, even if you're throwing back in. You can't do that. But I think it's a little bit of an overreaction here. Just a tiny bit here. Tiny bit.
Alex Cora's going, man, I wish you would have hit him in the head. I got much better options on the bench.
Well, I don't know about that, Grumpy. But I'll let you listen to the comments here. And again, like afterwards, you hear Verdugo's comments. He seems cool as a cucumber, right? We're going to joke around about this. No big deal. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, man, that kid, I'm happy his name has not been released. I have no idea how old he is. I heard maybe he was 17 years old. The kid might be a minor who hit him out there. And we're freaking out. Again, should not have hit Verdugo. But we'll let you listen to some of these comments here.
Look at this goof. This is Verdugo.
Yeah, I know this is Verdugo. Just let you
loser.
Okay.
And if we do something, we look like shit. We look like the bad guys. But at the end of the day, it's like people need to understand we're people as well. You know what I mean? Like we do the same stuff that you guys do. We feel the same way that you guys feel, but we also just, playing baseball is our job. That's our work. And yeah, I mean, I just feel like the fans are in the wrong on that one. I feel like anybody who gets hit with the ball like that, like it's kind of a free for all. Just let it all hang out and let your emotions go. And I'm just happy that nothing went from it, nothing transpired, nobody got hurt. I didn't get hurt, and we'll look back at it. I'll laugh about it. I'm sure we'll start messing around with some people in our clubhouse about it too. So, but yeah, it's just, we got to clean it up.
We got to clean it.
You want the caption at the top should have been when he was saying, dumb jock. I bet you his IQ isn't even 70. Not even 70. That guy is a freaking moron. Well, he couldn't even string two sentences together. He's a dope. He's a dumb jock.
Here's the thing. No. That's not what I'm trying to take away from this here, Grump. What I take away from that comment is he seems much more calm. Obviously, after everything has transpired, he seems pretty calm. Here's another thing, right? you see the videos. As soon as you get off, people are going to be like, hey, this is what happened. He threw from XYZ. He was kind of far back. The team kind of let him know what happened there, what transpired, as well as him getting hit. Here's the thing. Like, hey, if it was unintentional, no biggie there. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm safe. I'm healthy. That's the biggest portion out there. Our objective is to win baseball games. You're supposed to, that's how usually professionals go out there. Our job out there is to win baseball games. And, I'm happy we came away with a win against the Yankees. That, I just wanted to make sure that, in the future, those type of incidents, if anything crazy like that happens again, doesn't take me off my game. We're pushing here to win in the MLB championship. That's the type of shit that most players say, most professionals say. I'll let you listen to Aaron Boone's comments because this is the one that kind of drove me over the edge. I didn't really mind. I didn't mind what Verdugo said. No issue at all there with it. But Aaron Boone, I'll let you listen to that. And here's the thing. You talk about overreaction, grumpy old man. I think Boone might have had a tiny bit of overreaction, grumpy old man. I'll tell you that much. Okay, Grumpy. They ask him a question. Hey, what do you think about what transpired at the field?
Seeing that unfolded in left field, it looked like a fan hit Verdugo with the ball.
That's my understanding, that someone threw the ball and hit him at point blank from behind.
Hold on. From my understanding, some fan hit him from point blank from behind.
So in other words, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, right?
And
the guy who asked him the question doesn't know either because he said he was from left field. No, it was from right field. He got hit from right field, not left field. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't have to be at the ballpark to know that's right field and not left field. Look at the foul line. So whoever the question asker is a dope too.
The reporter. But so hits him from point blank. Certainly was not hit from point blank. Here's the thing, right? I get it. I get the anger, and I would understand here all the outrage behind everybody else if the guy was sitting on the first row there of the outfield and said, kabam, and beams him. The guy was sitting, 20, 30 rows back. He just threw the ball out there. I'll be honest with you. You're not even really, if he's that accurate, I'm more shocked than anything else. It was just one of those fluky type of things where, the fan loses. He should have been tossed. He shouldn't have hit the guy. I don't think he was intending to. But how many times do we see out there when a guy hits a home run, fans throw the ball back in the arena, in the stadium all of the time? All of the time. This is just one of these unfortunate situations where if you have enough fans throwing baseballs back in when certain teams hit home runs, eventually somebody's going to accidentally hit a player. Just going to happen. And this is, I think, exactly what that is. But Aaron Boone continues here, Grumpy.
It's awful, embarrassing, unacceptable. My understanding is they did catch the guy. Hopefully he's in jail right now.
Hopefully he's in jail. Can we hear that?
Wait, one second.
He's in jail right now.
When he's talking about awful and embarrassing and unacceptable, maybe he's talking about his team's performance this year and his managerial skills, which are awful, unbelievable, and unacceptable. He should be in jail, baseball jail, because he sucks as a manager. He absolutely blows as a manager. The Yankees are losers because of this freaking soft serve ice cream bastard right here. He sucks. He won't stick up for his players. He won't stick up for his fans. Just bend him over some stool somewhere. He sucks. Get rid of him. He's a moron. Aaron Boone is a moron. They got rid of Joe Girardi because he was too mean to Gary Sanchez. All I know is Gary Sanchez was able to play and put up the best numbers of his career when Joe Girardi was in there. They bring this guy in. He can't even hit 150. I mean, give me a break. This guy should not be a manager. Let me tell you something. If George Steinbrenner was still alive, this guy would have been fired years ago. He wouldn't even have made it through 6 months. He wouldn't even have been hired. He would have come in for the interview and he says, "Well, Aaron, what do you think you should do?" "I think we should be warm and friendly with the other team, and we shouldn't be too aggressive out there. And if our fans get angry at players they throw a baseball, that's unacceptable." Get out of my office. Matter of fact, take off the uniform.
I have a question, and I want to play devil's advocate. And this is the issue that I've had here with this. And this is the thing I've been mulling over. What is the difference? Let's say by some crazy situation that the fan intended to hit Verdugo. The worst case scenario, I'm going to assume this guy's got some malice in his heart. This guy, he's got some issues. He couldn't believe I hate that Alex Verdugo. And I got a ball. Now I can finally go ahead and exact my revenge on Alex Verdugo. Let's say he hits him. I have no idea how fast he was throwing that ball. I couldn't assume it was all that fast. Let me ask you this. Do I see the outrage in the baseball community and via the social media when a pitcher intentionally throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at a batter's head? Do I see the outrage when something like that happens? I think it's like, again, I know it's a little different. It's not exactly apples to apples because, hey, the batter's looking at it. He knows what's coming. But when a pitcher intentionally throws because an unwritten rule is broken and intentionally throws at, one of the best players a fastball right at his head, do I see the outrage? Hey, we need to toss Luis Severino. He should never be allowed to pitch ever again. He went ahead. That's assault. He threw a fastball right at a player's head. Get him out of there. He's never allowed to enter another stadium before in his life. I know it's not exactly apples to apples, but do I see outrage when someone tries to peg somebody else with a ball intentionally?
I look at it this way.
No.
Major League Baseball has a total inability to discipline the managers and players in their own league. Won't do it because they're so scared of the players union. A fan does something. The lifeblood of baseball is the fan. And he does something, and he shouldn't have done it. Okay, but boy, they're swift in that punishment. I mean, how many years were the Houston Astros banging on trash cans? Years. I mean, freaking years. How many years throughout baseball have they been using spider tack to throw to get better snap on the ball, right? And all of a sudden now it's an issue, but already they're kind of backing off on it. It's just typical, right? It's just typical why they can punish the fan because the fan has no recourse. But we're not going to do anything against the players. Baseball is all sports, the ownership, management, they're all gutless and weaselly, honestly. All they care about is lining their own pockets. That's it.
And that brings me talking about lining their own pockets. Serie A has a little rule they're going to be coming out with here, Grumpy, in the future. And I hate to immediately, move on to the next topic because, again, I think we've covered enough on Alex Verdugo. Hey, shouldn't have hit him. There's some other issues we've got there with it. But Serie A is not going to be allowing teams to wear green jerseys and green kits after the 2022-2023 season. From the 2022-2023 season on. For
those who don't know, Serie A is the Italian version of the English Premier League soccer.
Yes.
And, you look at that, it's like, what if somebody's colorblind? Should we not have any uniform colors? I mean, it's so stupid.
Hold on. What point did you just try to make? That made no sense.
What if a player's colorblind? I mean, what are they're trying to say? The green uniforms blend in with the grass?
What they're trying to say is like, hey, maybe well, they have used the fact that, hey, well, this has caused an issue. Players have a difficult time out there seeing and distinguishing the difference between players and what's on the pitch, which I could call complete bullshit on. I saw a few comments of them saying, hey, the real reason why this is an issue out here is because it affected their ability to put advertiser information there on the field. And sometimes that the players running with the green kits would go ahead and mess with those advertising spots they would put there on the pitch. And I'm like, oh, well, now this makes sense. I'm not so sure it's for the people and for the players. I think it's more for the ka-ching, the dollar.
Well, all I got to say, if Roberto or Paolo and they look out there and they can't see, I don't know what team I'm on. Well, look at your jersey. And if the other jersey is not the same, that's where the ball goes. Yes, there we go. There's your answer right there. Yep. It's not about that. It's about money. What a shock. I'm shocked. Color me shocked once again.
Yeah. I tell you.
Was that Alex Verdugo in your Facebook thing there?
What? No. What?
Go back to your Facebook thing.
No, there's Red Lightning. That was Red Lightning.
What's the difference? That looks like Alex Verdugo, that goof in the corner.
We got some comments I want to start going through there. Adrian was saying, "Hey, TJ." She didn't say, "Hey, the grumpy old man." Grumpy.
Because she's a TJ fan. I know she is. That's all right. That's all right, Adrian. I see how you roll. Don't worry.
I totally forgot, ladies and gentlemen. I know we're about 25 minutes in, but this is something I don't do very well at. If you like this content, you like our podcast, we go live every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Usually we go live also Wednesdays at 8 p.m. This Wednesday, we will not be going live. We'll be covering the NHL Expansion Draft on our other channel there, the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. But remember, So subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the action. But every single Sunday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you like and follow on Twitter as well. Eli said, what are your thoughts on exposing Josh Bailey? I have a feeling that there's a side deal with the Kraken, perhaps.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think so as well. There's no way that I just don't. From my perspective, as an Islander fan, I would have. You look at the other teams. Do you see them exposing young guys? Nope. They're all exposing all old guys who make money. That's what they're doing. Not the Islanders, though. We're going to expose our young guys to protect geeks like Josh Bailey. And here's the thing. I'm saying.
Well, we didn't protect Josh Bailey.
Yeah, okay. But there's a deal in place where we're going to give up more draft capital or more young talent to keep a guy like that from being picked. You know it. If you like them that much, why didn't you just protect them and expose a guy like Cal Clutterbuck or Matt Martin? Who cares? You hear the rumor saying, well, gosh, this is showing Casey Zekas. Well, we want you back, Casey. Really? Why do you want a fourth line where everyone's over the age of 30? I don't understand it. Baffling to me.
I'm confused, Grumpy. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I guess I got a different opinion than you on this one. I don't think that, hey, just because they've exposed Josh Bailey, they still want to keep him. They've got some side deal in the works. Maybe they just don't think hey, we want to expose Josh Bailey. We like what he does, but you know what I mean? Maybe we think Oliver Wahlstrom could step up in a second line role. And if that's the case, good riddance, Josh Bailey.
Well, they
expose both right wings. You can only take one of them, and it gives you a chance there to elevate Oliver Wahlstrom. Maybe that's what it is. I have no idea. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on, though, long term with it.
And maybe they figure they can sign Kyle Palmieri to a 12-year deal at the age of 30 for $15 million a year. Maybe they figure they can do that too.
Eli also said the Alex Verdugo thing got overblown, in my opinion. For certain, it did. And again, I always love when they do that, though. He's banned from every MLB stadium for the rest of his life.
All I remember is, you know what? He got hit with a baseball. I remember John Rocker. I remember the abuse that Barry Bonds used to take out in left field when he played for the Pirates against the Mets. I mean, real abuse, real freaking abuse. And he just shrugged it off. People throwing stuff at him all the time. He just kicked it to the side. I mean, you know what? It just comes with the territory. I'm sorry. I'm not saying the kid should have thrown the ball at him. It just shows how soft athletes are today. Just soft.
Now, you said, what happened with John Rocker again, Grumpy?
When he was a pitcher for the Braves, he did a Sports Illustrated article where he was ripping New York, going on the subway. You see people with, multicolored hair and women, all these children out of wedlock. So he was like public enemy number one. And they were throwing batteries and everything at him when he was coming in to the game to throw. It got so bad. Well, first of all, they might have kicking him out of baseball, long story short. But they were pelting him with batteries and throwing everything at him coming into stadium. I can't tell you how many times I've seen games or boxing matches when people are throwing things into the ring and onto the field. It happens, all right, not that much anymore. But, I mean, it used to happen all the time. I mean, it just shows how times have changed. And I'm not saying people should throw stuff on there. I never did. But just this reaction is just typical Major League Baseball. Punish the fan and reward the multi-million-dollar player.
Okay. They should have punished the fan, though. He should have been thrown out. He shouldn't be suspended forever coming back in an MLB stadium again. I think that's a little too much.
That's what I mean. That's punish it. You're just not losing today. You're never allowed to go to a Major League Baseball game again.
There should be punishment, though. He should have been said, hey, even though you bought tickets, you got to leave. You hit a player in the back there, you got to go. Even if it was by accident, you got to go. So there needs to be some punishment, but not to the extent he was.
Like I said, but they're going to have, all I know is you could be a murderer in this country and run around free. They have, your picture up and nobody can find him. But Major League Baseball is going to find this kid if he determines he wants to go to another baseball game. Really?
No, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. But
yeah,
that's why I always laugh at those type of things. It's all bark, no bite with those. And then Alexander says, stay classy, Yankee fans. Freaking idiots. He also says Yankee fans are a bunch of dumbasses. Verdugo had every right to be pissed. He did have every right to be pissed, but here's one of those things. Afterwards,
Alexander, I love you. Mets fans have done the same thing and way worse. Way worse. I've been at Met games, and they have done way worse. Way worse. Way worse. Not a little worse, way worse. Off the planet, off the reservation, worse. I'm telling you, from personal experience.
Eli says Verdugo is like Conor McGregor, all talk, no show.
Yeah, I'd love to see him get his legs snapped out there.
Go, stop, grumpy old man.
He's
You don't hate Verdugo. Conor McGregor.
Seriously, seriously, TJ, I never heard him talk until you showed me that clip. And I'm like, man, this guy's IQ is probably below 70, probably moron, sub-moron level.
Stop. He's not. Come on.
Okay, if I'm going to tell you what, he couldn't spell cat if I spotted him the C and the A. That much I'm going to say.
He also says Aaron Boone is a freaking clown.
He is a moron. He's a moron.
Paul F says, do you think Seattle takes Vladimir Tarasenko? Do you think he takes Vladdy Tarasenko, Grumpy? I hope not. So the Islanders can get him. Vladdy Tarasenko, as Grumpy was calling him yesterday. Vladdy. He sounded like Butch Goring already.
I think you might see them take certain players to make deals. I don't think they'll take Tarasenko. I think they expose Vince Dunn, a 24-year-old defenseman, a restricted free agent. I think that's who they'll take from St. Louis. That's who I would take when we go Wednesday on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I will tell you, little spoiler alert, Vince Dunn is going to be the guy that I have Seattle picking.
Well, we're going to talk here about the NHL expansion draft, kind of some of the big name guys. I'll be honest with you. We'll get into that too. There's a lot of big name players that are available this year during the expansion draft. And again, it's funny, right? You look back at when Vegas constructed a team. Hey, there were a few big name guys. Marc-Andre Fleury. Back at that time period, it's hard to go ahead and tick the clock back that far. But there were some big name guys out there available as well during that expansion draft. And we're going to talk about it. Alexander also says Aaron Boone is the worst manager in baseball.
I don't know if he's worth. I think he's like 31st.
Paul F. there says, by the way, why did Lou protect Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck and not Bellows? If they take Bellows and not Eberle or Bailey, we're screwed. Damn it, Lou, you old dinosaur.
To me, it made, like I said, I think the thought process was we want to show Casey Zizekas that even though you're 30 and injury prone and nowhere near the player you were a couple of years ago, we want to give you a big contract extension because that's what we do for guys in their 30s who are finished. We give them big, long contract extensions, and we want you to feel comfortable because we're going to keep another guy who's 34 and 33 years old on our roster. So, you can all share bunk beds together on the road. I think that's probably the reason.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Get rid of the old guys, bring in the new guys.
I was shocked about the protection of Matt Martin and Cal Clutterbuck. Do you really think that they were going to select a guy like Martin or Clutterbuck? I really would be shocked if Clutterbuck. I guess this means Clutterbuck plans on coming back. All I'm going to tell you is one thing. We read it in the off-season articles when he kind of had a chance to open up about what happened there with his injuries. Said he was contemplating early retirement last year. Now are you thinking, hey, he's got another year on his belt. He tested out with the hand. Oh, it wasn't all that bad this year. I mean, I'm sorry. It's hard to believe that he says that, yes, I still want to continue playing there. I really thought that he was going to be a candidate maybe for an early retirement there due to injury. Who the hell knows, though, Grumpy? I do not get the protection there of Matt Martin or Cal Clutterbuck. If they were to take those guys off your team, is it really a huge loss?
Is it really a huge loss taking anyone off of our team who's exposed?
Stop.
To me, it's not. It's not. I would have exposed like every other team did. You want to know why the big names are out there? Because they make so much money for so much term that the other clubs don't want them. And they're just, we don't want to hurt Anders Lee's feelings. We don't care that he's got 5 more years and $35 million come due to him when he's going to be absolutely toast. We don't want to expose him. I would expose everybody on this team who made any type of money. Any money. All right. Now you talk about Matt Martin. You realize that Lou Lamoriello protected him in the last expansion draft for Toronto. If you can believe that, think about the players he had there, and he protected Matt freaking Martin, the $6 million man. He's actually only the $4.5 million man.
You want to know what also is crazy about that? They protected Matt Martin and then proceeded to healthy scratch him the year thereafter. So I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand. Maybe Lou Lamoriello is playing 4D chess, and my just simple brain can't understand it. But I'm going to say it's probably not the case. And maybe he's made another grave mistake. But we'll see. Maybe he's already got a plan out in place. He has been proactive this year, so I will get.
No! Stop! What do you mean proactive? Okay, what move has he made to actually make the team on the ice better so far? How is the team on the ice better than it was at the end of the year? Is it better?
Not yet.
Okay, so no. So the answer is no. I'm hoping that he does. Everyone's ripping me. Oh, grumpy old man. Look, you say you're never wrong, but here, look at Lou. He's making all these moves. No, he hasn't made any moves yet. He's shedding salary. I think he will make moves. Will he? I don't know. If he signs Palmieri back, if that's his big move, is signing back some of the other geezer squad, well, then guess what? You're not making your team better, and then that's an F-. Get ready for the return of the F-.
Alexander says, so grumpy. It looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Brady could be facing consequences for covering up Brady's injury.
Okay, first of all, Tom Brady will not be facing any consequences. Why? Because he's the greatest player who ever lived. So that's not going to happen. Maybe the team will get a little slap on the wrist. Don't do that again. We're going to fine you $250,000. Who cares? You want to know something? The NFL does not announce all their injuries, regardless of what people think. They cover up injuries all the time. Why do they do it? Because they are gambling. And now that the NFL is in bed with gambling, well, we don't want guys saying that they're injured and they're not. Because, hey, if I'm going to bet on Tom Brady scoring 3 touchdown passes in the first half, and everybody puts money on that, and then they announce that he has a knee injury, well, what's going to happen with that money? That's the reason why they want to do it, is always for gambling. That's why they have that there. The unwritten, we're never in bed with gambling. They've always been in bed with gambling. So, it's all about money. Once again, the NFL, the only color they care about is green.
I honestly, Grump, I really, that never even crossed my mind that's the reason why they want to make sure all those injuries are out there in public, is gambling purposes there in some capacity. And now that they're in bed with gambling, they want as much transparency as humanly possible.
Always been like that.
They always feel, hey, guy's got a little bit of a hip injury, got a little bit of a groin strain, he's got a little bit of this, he's got a little bit of that. The only ones that you see that are really, really obvious are like, hey, he's got a pulled hamstring. Hey, he's got anything that's very blatantly obvious. Those are the type of ones that you can't really work too much around. There's no wiggle room on that.
Do you want to know what the Patriots used to do when Brady was quarterback there? They said that he had a shoulder injury every single game for 5 years. Shoulder injury. Questionable. Shoulder injury, questionable or probable. Every week they put him on there as having a shoulder injury. Did he have a shoulder injury? Probably not, but they just put it out there. Every week for 5 years he had a shoulder injury.
Hey, I did not know that, grumpy old man.
Every freaking year.
Every
5 years. 5 years.
Alexander also said, Grumpy, I'm with you on Bailey. And he also said, yeah, I remember that about Rocker. I couldn't stand him. I hated him.
Right. He was hated. And let me tell you something. The Mets fans, Alexander.
He also said, you're right, Grumpy. Mets fans have been just as bad, too.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You want to know something? Every team's fans are like that. I just mentioned the Mets fans because I know Alexander's a Mets fan. And that's cool. I like the Mets, too.
I'm a Mets fan.
Lindor's, I know you are. You're a huge Mets fan. Lindor's going to be out for an extended period. I'm going to drop him off my fantasy team, my undefeated fantasy baseball team.
Back to fantasy.
Okay. But, like I said, it's not just the Mets and the Yankees. The Red Sox fans do it, too. And let me tell you something. You think it's bad throwing things? The verbal assaults that these players, and some people are funny, what they say to the players. And, you can see when the players sometimes they hear it. They pretend like they don't, but they hear everything. And I'll tell you a story about Barry Bonds. Years and years and years ago, he played left field for the Pirates, and nobody threw. People did throw things at him. He was at the height of his before he went to San Francisco, and people forget. Man, Barry Bonds was a great player way before he started taking steroids and went to San Francisco.
For certain.
And he certainly did take steroids. It doesn't bother me. The only one that hurts is himself. But I remember he was warming up with Steve Cook, who was, I guess he was a relief pitcher, and they were, warming up, and they're going, and one guy, he was in a wheelchair, and he used to sit like in the lower loge, and he go the whole game, Barry, and Barry's not doing anything. And then he's warming up with Cookie, like, Cookie. And then he's still no reaction. He goes, Cookie, Barry's mom makes more money than you. And Barry turned around and he looked at the guy and he tipped his hat and he laughed. And it was hilarious. And Steve Cook laughed too. And it was great. But Barry took man, a heap load of freaking abuse out there. And that's, that just goes with the territory. My hero, Tom Brady, right? You go to any other stadium, man, he is relentlessly booed there.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing too. You talk about fan bases. Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think there's any fan base I hate more than a Philadelphia Eagles.
Ugh.
You look at back there in the time period, back there in the 80s and the 90s. They're throwing. You talk about really throwing batteries. They're beating the hell out of damn fans out there, breaking jaws of fans of opposing teams. That's one of those places. Like if you're thinking like, hey, there's some docile fans. You've got their library fans, where it's like, hey, we're out there in Kansas City, or hey, we're down here at the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're here at Amalie Stadium. I'm not too worried about things getting mixed up or violent. There is no way in hell I'm doing anything that might put myself in jeopardy if I'm going to a Philadelphia Eagles game in Philly. No way.
I remember my son was playing high school football, and this was a team that was really good state. It was like in the state, I think, semifinals or something, quarterfinals. And they used to line the walkway of where the visiting team and his team was visiting, line it with students from that school. And as they're walking down, he's getting spit on by the fans of the other team, throwing stuff at them, spitting on them and cursing at them as they're coming into the stadium. To me, that's home field advantage. But in today's day and age, it's illegal. I don't know. You go figure. But back to Philadelphia, right? You talk about, the most hated fans. Philadelphia, strike that. The most hated city as far as I'm concerned. I hate Philadelphia. The fans, the city. Like I said, it's the cesspool of America. Pretty much Pennsylvania on a whole. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Really, what's the difference? I mean, down the drain with those two teams.
Paul F. also says baseball players have been soft for years since the three true outcomes analytics came into the game. MLB deserves to die as a league for being so boring.
And they brought it upon themselves. They let the analytics geeks determine how to play baseball. Well, there's a reason why you've been sitting there with your pocket protector and your little calculator and your little slide rule trying to figure out what's going to happen next. You just suck the fun out of everything.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You want to know who didn't use the slide rule? Billy Martin.
Frankie G said, this is the best podcast out there. Thanks there, Frankie G. We appreciate it. Eli.
Love you, Frankie G. Tell your friends.
Eli also said Landeskog, Landy, and Butch Goring Land. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we had Tarasenko or Landeskog or anything like that? I don't know what type of nickname. Yeah, you're right. Probably Vladdy and
Landy, Vladdy, Matty. Well, no, he's just Barzell. That's what he. But I just ugh. What I was thinking about today. I was thinking, what? We need to clean up our act on the television side of things, too, for the New York Islanders. Get rid of Shannon Hogan. I've seen enough of her. We've already jettisoned the screwy hair job. She's gone, thank goodness. Butch needs to go.
I liked Aja Malesko. Come on.
She's gone, thank God. She was average. She was average.
Okay, she's better than Butch. I'm sorry, Butch has got to go. I love Butch, but if we're talking about merit still, you can find some other ex-NHLer that has some sort of value still that can't. I mean, Butch just. I love Butch, but come on now, come on, Butch.
They should put me in the booth. They should put me in the booth. Absolutely. Well, put me between the glass. I'll be the guy between the glass. I mean, I'd be having fun out there with the players for both teams. I'm telling you, it would be unbelievable. Incredible.
I don't know. I don't even want to.
What Trump used to say, huge. It would be huge. I don't know. I can't do it.
Huge. What do you sound like, Arnold? No, he said huge. That's what he used to do. Huge. But yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger said huge. You sound like Arnold right there, Grumpy.
I'll be back.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Arnold said, I'll be back in every freaking movie once he became. Every movie. Every one.
He did a little callback every single time. People are like, hey, there it is. There it is. Arnold.
I watch his old movies now just to wait for him to say, I'll be back. I'll be back.
Really?
Yes.
I'll be back. Fair enough, grumpy old man. And then Alexander said, it's amazing how Islander fans keep defending Josh Bailey. I just can't believe this.
Because they've been living – he's the absolute definition of mediocrity, and the Islanders have been bad. So for them, he's a hero. But he's not. He's a ham and egger. Here's the thing. He's an average to slightly above average NHL player. That's how I would describe Josh Bailey.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, I mean, he's an above average guy. I'm not putting
He's not above average.
Slightly above average.
Yeah, like when I say like 50.5 to 49.5.
If I'm look at it like this, if we've got a bathtub of what is average, and there's like a thin veneer, like you've got a bubble bath going, and it's no bubbles yet, just a thin veneer, just of the bubble bath liquid laying right on top of that, and he's just going ahead dipping his toe right in between the barrier there of average into above average. That's what Josh Bailey is.
Okay, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me, which is fine. Let's say you need your water in the bathtub at 75 degrees, and that's average. He's 75.5. That's about the extent of how above average he is. Like I said, he's an average hockey player.
And Paul F there says, "Grumpy old man, I pray for you." For once bought Casey's contract prediction, but Lou really knows how to break my heart.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they want him back. They want him. We want to bring back fourth liners. That's what the team is all about, fourth liners.
Yeah.
We don't care about guys who can score. As long as I got a guy who plays 10 minutes a game and, is on the ice for 60% of the time or 80% of the time during the season, contract extension, big bucks.
Oh, goodness. Adrian there says, "Hi, TJ and Grumpy old man. How are you guys doing today? Grumpy, you're funny."
Thank you, Adrian. Yo, Adrian. Tampa Bay's not doing it next year, baby. I'm sorry.
She's also a Toronto fan.
Ah, no.
Yeah, Adrian.
I can tell you Toronto's not doing it. That much I guarantee you. Think about it. Toronto's worse off with Lou Lamoriello gone. Oh, think about that.
Hey, come on. Give Lou some credit. Give Lou credit, buddy.
All right. You know what? I'm telling you what. I'm a little bit aggravated when I'm seeing Lou is God. Lou's doing this. Look at how great he was. Oh, what a fancy moves. He traded 2 guys off the roster and gave up how many draft picks for guys who don't even play. So, like I said, he mismanaged the cap in previous years. So that's why he was forced to do this. But here's the thing. Until he actually brings in some players that are better than the players that we have, which really shouldn't be too hard, honestly, you're going to be in the same boat. Bring in better players. That's what I want. I was all excited yesterday on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. But now I'm looking at him like, no, he's going to do something to screw it up and piss me off all off season. I can feel it.
I can feel it. Alexander said I was getting destroyed by Facebook and Twitter about Lou's list, and I went off after I saw that list there. I'll tell you, yeah, anybody who goes ahead and questions, and here's the thing. I think Lou's done a good job, but now seeing everybody saying Lou is God, Lou has done everything so well. Here's the issue I have. Okay.
He's playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. That's a great. What's another one too?
Well, yeah.
He's playing chess.
Well, that's one of those things, too, where I'm thinking to myself, the Islanders really only had one option forward. They had to clear cap, and those were the most obvious and clear things to do. So now, once Lou's done that, again, I'll say good for you. You've done what we suggest. You didn't go off the rail and do something unbelievably stupid. But really, him just doing what we had expected and what we thought he was going to do here beforehand, now all of a sudden that deserves plaudits. I don't know. I'm happy he did it, but to see everybody else saying Lou Lamoriello just went ahead and cleared like $9 million in salary cap in the matter of 24 hours. He is a god. He's goated. I'm just like, come on.
I hate how that word gets thrown around. Goat. Just say the greatest of all time. If you don't have the intelligence to say the whole thing, just stay out of the conversation.
Grump, you know what? I'm going to say Tom Brady's the GOAT.
He's the greatest of all time. Just stay out of the conversation, all right? You don't know what you're talking about. Only I do.
I'm just going to start referring to this GOAT. Hey, I like GOAT. I like using that term now, Grumpy. Now,
I hate it. It's lazy. It's lazy.
Alexander said, Grumpy TJ, did you see how the Mets lost on Saturday? Oh, my God. It was a bad below a 6-0 lead and lose to a walk-off grand slam. Ducks on the pond, grand slam.
Normally that would bother me. But since the guy was playing in fantasy baseball this week, had Edwin Diaz on there, boom! Put me right over the top for another victory. Thank you very much. Thank you, Edwin Diaz. You're the best player on my team.
Good gracious. Here it is. Grump, as a fan, I wanted all players that cheated with steroids, etc., to get suspended because it ruined the game.
I disagree because I think 95% of the players were doing something.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I still think that a large majority of players still do something that goes ahead and tips the scale in their favors. It might not be mainstream, and until like a light gets shined on it, they have no idea. And I always look at Ray Lewis too as a perfect example. He goes ahead and tears, was his Achilles or triceps? I can't remember what he tore, because I know what Suggs tore something similar, and I can always kind of put them together. Unbelievable linebacker for the Ravens. But he went ahead and tore something, and he was using deer antler spray. Oh, technically it wasn't against the rules at the time period, but then they look at, the healing properties and the factors it has, and they say, oh, well, actually that gives you an uncompetitive advantage. We're not going to allow that there in the future. Players do deer antler spray.
They don't. No one knows
spray.
No one knows what this stuff does. No one knows.
My thing is, guys are going as far as using deer antler spray in order to go ahead and get a competitive advantage.
They'll do anything to stay on the field. That's how they get paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame them. And I'm not saying that
we do not endorse steroids because
exactly. I'm not right. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, we do not endorse steroids because of the long-term effects it has there on it. But I think majority of players, if they can't do something to get a competitive advantage, and they still do that. Doesn't matter what you ban, people are always going to do something to go ahead and cross the line where they could still get a competitive advantage. They want to teeter on that.
I mean, you look at, here's the thing. If they want to use steroids, do whatever you want. It's your body. I don't think it's smart, but you know what? It's not my life. But here's the thing. You see player X who wasn't good enough take steroids. Why? Because it improved his performance, so he was able to start. So player Y says, well, geez, if I got to keep up with player X, I have to start doing something. And that's what I think happened. I remember Ken Caminetti in 1988 come out and said, 80% of the players in this league are taking steroids. And people went, oh, what are you kidding me? You're just upset, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know something? He was right. Jose Canseco, he was right when he said everybody's using steroids, because everybody was. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but, just to blackball somebody for using steroids, I just think that's wrong, because I think everybody was doing it. Is just who got caught, who got leaked as someone who's using.
Oh, goodness gracious. Grumpy, I also did want to provide some closure here regarding Aaron Rodgers. He announced that he will return to the Green Bay Packers for the 2021 NFL season. So all that shtick about maybe sitting out, wanting to be traded, all the drama he stirred up there led to absolutely nothing.
So who called that months ago?
You did, Grumpy.
Thank you. Thank you. I knew nothing was going to happen. He makes too much money. It's not going anywhere.
Hold on a second here. Is this Barry Center? What the hell is Barry Center?
Who cares?
I think this might be wrong source. Grumpy, I maybe got that from a wrong source, so don't quote me on it there, Grumpy. I have to do some research. My source may have been bad. I took a quick glance at it there, and I saw sports. I thought it was Sports Center. But let me be honest, it wouldn't shock me at all if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I hope that was not false information. I just went ahead and tatted out there, Grump. I saw it and I wanted to pop it up. But moving right along there, Paul F. said, do you think the Blues would take Eberle or Bailey, depending on who I hope Seattle takes straight up? For Vladdy, if Tarasenko, if Vladdy, if the Kraken take Dunn.
That's a move. I don't know if the Blues, here's the thing. The Blues are in a hard spot too, because he does not want to play there anymore because they misdiagnosed his injury twice. And once you lose that trust with player, I think he will be moved. I'd love for it to be to the New York Islanders. I would just absolutely love it.
About some of the big name players that are still out there and available there for the Seattle Kraken to go ahead and select. Look at those names there, Grumpy Old Man. Carey Price, which not many people were expecting that based off the way he played in the NHL playoffs, but he makes way too much money. Vladimir Tarasenko, Gabriel Landeskog left unprotected. Ryan Johansson, Mike Giordano, he's towards the end, very tail end of his career. Jonathan Drouin, unfortunately, never really panned out. Yanni Gourde there serves a purpose there for Tampa. Yanni Gourde, Tyler Johnson, both Tampa there. Jason Zucker, Jared McCann, and Capo Kapanen.
Here's the thing. Look at every one of those. What do they all have in common? They make a lot of money with term. That's the reason.
Except Kapanen. Okay, except Capo.
Right. Okay. But you look at Carey Price, $10.5 million with $11 million signing bonus coming in September. And Tarasenko, $9 million cash, $7.5 million cap hit for the next 2 years. Landeskog, unrestricted free agent, looking for $9 million a year. Johansson, 3 more years on his deal, $8 million. Giordano, $6.75 million for 3 more years at 35 years old. Jonathan Drouin, 2 more years, $5.5 per. He can't even get on the ice. Yanni Gord, good player, third line guy, almost $6 million a year for 3 more years. Tyler Johnson is making almost $4 million for 4 more years. Jason Zucker, I don't know what he's making. McCann has 2 more years on his deal. Not that bad a number, and I don't know what Kakinen makes. But they all make money, right, for term. Those are the guys you expose. Why? Because in the flat cap era, what you want to do is shed those contracts. I listened to some of these Islander pundits and fans. Well, gosh, you hate to lose Josh Bailey or Jordan Eberle for nothing. Well, you're not losing them for nothing. You're freeing up cap space, which makes it so you're able to make your team better by going out and get higher end talent. So you're not losing them for nothing. You're getting rid of salary. That is the advantage. That's what you want to have happen in the expansion draft. You don't want to give up young players who could butt into something good. You want to get rid of guys who are on the downside who still have term and money. That's what you want to do. The Islanders and Lou Lamoriello don't think that way, but the rest of the world does.
I'll tell you, Grump, as you're going through that there, I was not able to verify. I think that was a false source there. I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Or he hasn't gone ahead and officially said he's coming back. I think he's still probably going to come back. But anyway, moving right along there. Eli saying there, Philly is the worst sports city. Change my mind.
I can't. They are the worst. They're disgusting.
Well, Paul F. said, touche, Eli. Detroit fans are tortured with bad ownership and all their sports franchises. Oh, God, yeah. Oh.
Well, when the Red Wings, when Ilitch died, I think that was kind of the beginning of the end for them. But here's the thing. I think you could see a resurgence there. Ownership is behind them, and they have a good they got Stevie Y there as GM, who did wonders for Tampa Bay. Detroit Lions, well, they are what they are. I think the Ford family still owns them, but they're a dumpster fire. The Tigers, they were owned by Ilitch also. So I don't know. Sorry, Detroit.
I'm a fan of Dan Campbell. I know you're not. I'm pulling for Dan Campbell. I know a few guys who play for the Lions, so okay. I got a little soft spot in my heart for the Lions.
Okay, I love the Lions logo, but Dan Campbell is to coaching what Alex Verdugo is to baseball. Dumb jock. How would a guy like that gets a head coaching spot is just beyond my comprehension? And that's not the first one he's had.
No, it's not. He did coach for the Dolphins back in the day. Now he's for the Lions. Paul F. also said Philly is tied for the worst city of people there with Chicago and Detroit.
Yeah, they both suck there.
And then Alexander also said, oh, my God, I remember at a game versus the Giants at Shea Stadium, the abuse that Barry Bonds got was horrendous. One of the fans had a mana joke about Barry.
It might have been a mama joke. I mean, they love to pick on Barry's mom. I don't know Barry's mom. But, man, she took a lot of abuse out there. I know that.
Yeah. Good old Barry Bonds. Grumpy Man said you need, or Paul F. also said, Grumpy Man, you need to apply to MSG right now.
Let me tell you something. I would guarantee you the broadcast would be way more entertaining. That much I can absolutely guarantee you.
Yeah, Grumpy. Maybe you go ahead and get a grassroots movement. You get enough people watching the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. They're Grumpy, and they're going to have to offer you the job, right?
Why not?
Well, here's another thing, though. You don't tote the company line, so I'm not sure how long you would. I can tell you one thing. I wouldn't have to worry about losing you too long if you were to get that job because you'd be fired within the first month on the job saying, you'd be coming out too much about the Islanders player. I'd maybe give you a week on the job until you just let it kind of slide until you actually come and slip back into your normal self and you just say something uncharacteristic or something bad about an Islander and you're gone.
I would guarantee you that I'd be called on the carpet within a week. Well, gosh, man, you keep on saying things that don't make us look good. Get better. Why are you ripping Barry? Because Barry plays guys who are my age as opposed to younger players. He's going to hear it from me. Barry, why won't you play younger guys, Barry?
Goodness gracious. Alexander said, also, honestly, I can't stand Patriot fans. Going to the Dolphins versus the Patriots games at Hard Rock Stadium. Oh, my God, they talk so much crap, but we got them back. With the Miami Miracle. Oh, my God. The Miami Miracle has to bring it back.
All right, Alexander, you got him back with the Miami Miracle. Do you remember how that season ended? With Super Bowl number 6 for the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. That's what happened.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Okay, and like I said, and here's the thing, Alexander, I feel bad for you. You're a Dolphins fan. I'm sorry, they're losers. Let's be honest, right? I think Brian Flores is an excellent coach, and I hope they're in the right direction. They should have drafted a different quarterback this year instead of Noodle Arm that they got back there. But for me, beating the Patriots is the highlight of your season. Where for back when Brady was quarterback there, the highlight of their season was winning Super Bowls. The Dolphins were an afterthought, really.
Yeah, oh goodness gracious, grumpy old man. That being said, moving right along there, Alexander said, TJ Grumpy, you guys going to watch the WWE Money in the Bank?
No, I'm not watching. I'm doing the podcast instead.
Honestly, I can't even tell you. I don't even know who wrestles anymore. I haven't watched wrestling in such a long time. I couldn't really tell you who any of the modern day wrestlers are. Just kind of.
I'll tell you what. It almost seems like the women's division is more interesting than the men's at this point. The product is way down. And I know that. I think they're starting to bring fans in, and without fans, it makes wrestling really hard. That's a sport that relies on having fans in the buildings for certain.
And relies on the
interaction.
Reaction. Yeah. It certainly does, grumpy old man. Moving right along there. Eli also said Carey Price apparently has an injury. Odd timing, but that may be why they left him off the protected list.
I think Montreal would absolutely love for Seattle to take that contract. But if I'm Seattle, you got to have rocks in your head. You know who would be making that call if they picked Carey Price? The Kraken girl. She'd be the one. Oh, I like Carey Price.
I'll tell you.
The Kraken.
Carey Price still has 4 years left on that contract, I think. Yikes. I mean, you can't. I'm sorry. That was a deal where you look at it. I mean, Carey Price was at the top of the game when he originally signed it. But man, oh man, that's one of those things where you think to yourself, I'm like, God almighty, how the hell does a general manager make such a stupid offer like that where long term it was going to handcuff the team?
It is what it is. I mean, like I said, I'm not surprised he got a lot of those guys. It's all about the money. It's all about the money in the flat cap era. That's why.
Eli also said, yeah, MSG's HR wouldn't like grumpy old man very much. LOL. I think you're right. I don't think the grumpy old man would be. I think they'd be getting a few calls, the HR department, about the grumpy old man, and they'd be like,
"You want to know who would like me? The people who cash the checks from advertising. Those would be the ones who'd like me. Why? Because I put more asses in seats and more eyeballs on the tube, which is what they really care about. HR, yeah, okay, just pat them on the back. Say, don't do that again, grumpy old man. No. Okay, I won't."
Yeah, I feel like that gig will get a little old kind of quick there. Oh my goodness. Alexander said yes, unfortunately, Grump, they wouldn't be a fan there. Eli said Alex in Miami sucks from a Jets fan.
Oh, that's a slam. Sorry, Alexander. That one stings.
Paul Leff also said they're grumpy old man. Do you watch AEW? It's a way better product.
I have not watched it recently, but it is a better product. It's a throwback to what wrestling used to be when, it's run by Cody Rhodes, who's Dusty Rhodes' youngest son. And I actually like it. I wish they had some bigger physical athletes in there. But they have some real talent. They really do. I mean, Chris Jericho looks huge there. I mean, he looks like he's a big guy, and he's really not.
No. Paul Leff also said, grumpy old man, Montreal, I do think they want to keep Price. Number two, them, that is their modern day Patrick Waugh.
Then why didn't they protect him?
I think there's no way in hell. I mean, he said he's willing to waive his no trade clause, so maybe
only if they try to move his contract, if they try to trade him, he can tell them where he wants to go.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Alexander said Montreal signs Price to that huge contract. The Florida Panthers say, hold my beer with Bobrovsky.
Well, that was a big mistake. Okay, but, here's the thing. Bobrovsky was a good goalie, but at the time they signed him, I mean, everyone knew that that's too much money for too long a term for where he was in his career. I mean, you just don't do it. It's just dumb. It's something the Islanders would do not normally. honestly.
Alexander said, the Jets don't get me started, Eli. I'll tell you, hey, the Jets, I say it all the time, but maybe the Jets are going to finally start rounding the bend here with Zach Wilson. You never know. You never know.
Okay, all right, I'll go with you never know, but I'll say no.
John M. said, who are we replacing Eberle with once we lose him to the Kraken?
If we lose Jordan Eberle, I'm hearing people say, well, that means we got to sign Kyle Palmieri back. I'm like, why? Why would you want to go with Kyle Palmieri? Why not go after a bigger fish? Someone who's better than Kyle Palmieri. Somebody like DJ, for instance. Somebody like the grumpy old man, for instance. Kyle Palmieri sucks. I don't want to see that. If making Kyle Palmieri and re-signing him is your off season, you have failed. We need higher end talent on the first line. Way higher end talent. Not the Kyle Palmieris of the world.
Oh, I missed this one. Alexander all said, Grumpy, what is your Islanders Mount Rushmore of mediocrity players?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Of all time or just on the team now, because it doesn't even matter.
Let's say all time. All time.
Josh Bailey, Anders Lee, Brock Nelson, Nick Leddy. There you go.
Freaking stop. I'm sorry.
That's like Mount Rushmore. I don't even know what you'd call it.
God almighty.
Like the four pillars of silly putty.
Oh, stop, grumpy old man.
They're just average players.
Alexander said half of AEW's roster is WWE talent.
Yeah, you see people leave the WWE and they go over there. And you know what? Good for them. Here's the thing. For the WWE to be as good as they can be, they need competition. Yeah. That's when they had the Attitude Era, because WCW was kicking their butts. They knew that they needed to change the product. And Vince McMahon did that. That's what they went with the Attitude Era. And that's not something he likes to do, by the way, is have raunchy type of entertainment like that. It was great for the fans, though. Really, really good. Push the envelope. And you could say arguably the greatest era in WWE history.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, hey, competition always brings out the best product. Paul F. there said they didn't protect him, Carey Price there, because they needed Allen as their backup.
Okay.
So maybe here's the thing too. I don't think I'd be shocked if they take Carey Price. He just makes so much money.
It makes no sense.
There's not enough teams. Hey, why not expose a guy like that they know they won't select?
Now, here's another thing. If they're taking unrestricted free agents, what you know is that they've either worked out a deal for them already, or they've worked out a trade with somebody else where this team is going to get them, and maybe some deals already worked out there. Because it doesn't make any sense for an expansion team to pick anyone who's an unrestricted free agent. It just doesn't. Unless you can flip them right away for something bigger and better.
Eli also saying there, I heard somewhere that instead of NHL Network having all the out-of-market games, they'll be on ESPN Plus. Not sure, though, but ESPN Plus is much cheaper than the NHL Network.
I also heard that. I don't know how it affects NHL Center Ice. That's the biggest concern for me, because that's how I watch my games, is on NHL Center Ice. I get all the games really nice and easy to, hey, it's this channel, bip, 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 bip. Real easy for the grumpy old man. I don't have to ship, this here, what, where? Oh, I got to put this. No, make it real simple for me. That's how I do it.
Oh, goodness. Paul F. also said, I think they're going to be scared. His contract will scare Seattle away. Yeah, and the thing is, there's no way in hell they'd take him on unless they had an immediate plan to trade him, just because he's owed $15 million, I believe, by September as a bonus. So
11 million.
11 million, whatever it is. It's more than I'm sure Seattle's willing to pay here as a new franchise there. Moving right along there, John M. said the worst fans are LSU fans. I had urine thrown on me there from an LSU fan. That was at Auburn's home stadium. Worst ever.
Okay, one thing I want to say, John, most of those LSU fans are probably drunk most of the time. Maybe they weren't throwing it. Maybe they were just peeing, and they couldn't make it to the bathroom and accidentally hit you.
Oh, goodness gracious. Grumpy old man.
But here's the thing. What he's saying, I'm not saying it's the norm, but am I surprised I'm not, oh my God, I'm aghast. No, I'm not shocked at all. You go into Madison Square Garden, you cannot wear the other team's jersey. You go into Philadelphia, you cannot wear the other team's jersey unless you want it ripped off your back. That's just the way the fans are. They're passionate.
Fanatics. Someone argue.
That's where fans comes from. It's from fanatics.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing too. A little basketball news here. Giannis, the Greek freak, and the Milwaukee Bucks look like they are closing in on an NBA championship. I mean, they took Game 5 there against the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. Man, oh man, looks like Chris Paul, snake bitten, will never win a championship.
Yeah, I was kind of torn because I usually root for the underdog, and but I root for as I get older, I root for players who appeal to me more than teams, particularly in the sport that I could care anything about, honestly. And Giannis is a really nice young man, so I have no problem with him. But I was kind of rooting for Chris Paul only because he's at the tail end, and it would have been nice to see him win a championship. And he's done really good considering he was a deadline acquisition, or he was acquired, maybe not deadline, but Phoenix brought him in late. He's really helped solidify that team. And, it's how many more kicks of the can is he going to have at it? So I'm kind of,
it's weird to say, you always look at certain guys, you say, I can't wait for that guy one day to retire because I think he's going to be a great personality on TV. Like I always said that about Phillip Rivers. I'll say that too about Chris Paul. He's one of those guys that are really personal, really articulate, and I think he'd be excellent as a commentator. I think he's a good personality. He's got that infectious smile about him. I like Chris Paul. I can't wait to see what he'll do after basketball. I mean, again, he's not like, hey, I'm retiring or anything like that immediately. But that's one of those characters I can't wait to see afterwards. Same thing with Phillip Rivers.
Do you remember, one guy who's never going to get a TV gig? Alex Verdugo. Just listening to him talk to them, like, nope. He's going to go back to wherever he's from. I don't know where he's from. Doesn't even matter. Texas. Who the heck knows where he's from? And, just sit there and drink beer. I mean, that's all he's going to do. That's his future.
Eli saying Carey Price is a bum in the regular season, overrated due to a good postseason. It made everyone forget his mediocrity when games don't matter as much.
Sounds like Kyle Palmieri, doesn't it?
Oh, Jesus, he's grumpy.
But he disappeared. He disappeared in the postseason too. So
stop. Palmieri did not disappear in the postseason. Oh, goodness, grumpy. Alexander said, TJ Grumpy, do you think Tyson Barrie could be another option?
Not for this team.
I was about to say
he's small and doesn't play any defense.
He's more, about to say he's one of those offensively minded defensemen, which usually don't bode all that well in our system. I don't like that. Moving right along there, grumpy old man Paul F. there said, if I was a Kraken GM, I would select Price because of the marketability you can build a team around. I
don't want any part of that contract. No part of that contract. No.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest part there. Oh, Eli said Verdugo would fit right into that LSU crowd.
He would. That's it. Maybe he's from Louisiana. I don't know.
Paul F. there said Ovi is also exposed for Seattle to take as well.
They're not going to take him either. Why would they? He's an unrestricted free agent, can go wherever he wants. Do you think he's going to sign with Seattle? No way. I'm going to guarantee you he's going to go back to Washington. I really believe that.
Yep, absolutely. Alexander said Chris Paul, the Suns got him in the offseason, grumpy old man.
Okay. You know what? I thought maybe it was in December. Okay. Well, maybe December was when the season started. I don't know. Maybe that was it. I thought it was something like in December. Hey, whatever.
Paul F is also saying there, they won't do it, but it's interesting to think of. Imagine the explosion on the internet, the Seattle Kraken select Carey Price and Alexander Ovechkin.
You know what it'd be like? It's like waking up the next day and, you've been out drunk all night and you say, I did what? That's what it would be.
Alexander said about that guys, what is the biggest reason for the turn at the beginning? I was ripping Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton is a good player. He's a good player. He benefits from being the second banana. That's what I'm going to say. You have to dedicate so much energy and effort to stopping Giannis. And I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his last name. I even tried. I listened to the commentators pronounce it, and I'm like, forget it. He's just Giannis. And, so sorry, Giannis. But he makes Chris Middleton better just by everyone going towards him. It's like Matt Barzell makes ham and eggers like Josh Bailey look way better than they are because no one has to ever game plan for Josh Bailey.
Also, Alexander saying, do you guys really think that Ovechkin wants to go back to Washington? Do you think that he's frustrated there?
I think he wants to go back to Washington. I don't think he wants to leave there.
Fair enough, Grump. I think, yeah, maybe it's ideal that he does go back to Washington. That being said, I think one of the most important things for him, I think he wants to break that goal record. I really do. I think he'd be crazy if I completely avoided that. I think that is one of the biggest objectives he still has left. He wants to win cups, sure. He still wants to be on a competitor. He wants to go ahead and break that goal record, no doubt in my mind.
I was going to say if he hadn't won a cup yet, I think you might see him move. But he's got the cup. He's been there how many years? 16 years, however many years. He wants to play the whole rest of his career there. And, that's good. Good for him. They're going to pay him. He'll have to take a little bit of a cut back from what he's been making. But, yeah.
Absolutely. Paul F. said, where is the expansion draft going to be broadcasted? It's going to be on ESPN.
Yes. My boy Barry Melrose. You think about it.
Oh, Barry freaking Melrose.
I like Barry Melrose.
Well, he says some shit that pisses me off sometimes.
I don't care. I like him. And it's funny. You look at him now. Remember when he was like the linchpin guy in the studio when ESPN had the coverage, 15 years ago? Yep. And you look at him now, and he's still got the same mullet, a little bit thinner on top and stuff like that, but he's still got it. And good for him. I mean, he's stuck with ESPN when he certainly could have went somewhere else. So good for him. I always like Barry Melrose.
He's probably getting paid out the ass. And again, that guy wears his suits are way too big for him. He needs to get his suits to where they actually freaking fit his body. His pants look like they hang all over the place. His sleeve arms look like they're coming all the way down. It's like, hey, this is my dad's suit. I'm like, come on, Barry, get fit for your suits.
Calm down there, Men's Warehouse. All right.
Oh, goodness gracious. Grumpy Old Man said Alexander said Grumpy Old Man. But here's one thing. How much longer before you see McDavid and Edmonton come to blows?
No time soon. No time soon.
Absolutely there. And Eli also said, correction, ESPN still won't give hockey its needed attention, so it's going to be there on ESPN 2. I knew it was going to be on the ESPN network in some capacity. I didn't know what channel, but ESPN 2.
I tell you, I always kind of like watching NHL Network for things like that because their announcers they love hockey and, they know more about the sport where, when ESPN does, it's like, hold on, this guy did what? Leon Draisaitl? Yeah, he was pretty good. They really don't know much with the Canadian guys know.
Well, the Oilers did really good, and Leon and Connor, because they're not pronouncing last names. The same exact thing to do with soccer. Unless it's Cristiano Ronaldo or Leo Messi, they're like, oh, yeah, that guy, Buffon, or Donna. They don't know how to pronounce any of the names because they're not familiar.
Gigio Buffon.
Yeah, Gigio Buffon or Donnarumma. They don't know how to pronounce any of the names. So, but anyway, that being said, Grumpy, hey, we're right here at the end, about an hour and 15 minutes in. We will not be going live on this channel this next Wednesday, but you can catch us on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we will be covering the expansion draft live on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. That being said, Grumpy, what do you have to say before we wrap things up here today?
We will be doing a podcast Wednesday on the NHL Expansion Draft on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast.
It's like, hold on. Am I hearing an echo?
No, but I'm sure you messed it up. And make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I don't know what buttons you got to hit. Hit buttons, all of them that make sense for us because it helps, and we love that. But love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
I like that, Grumpy. Just need you to start hitting the buttons you see there on YouTube. You know the buttons to hit. Grumpy says, hit them and hit them hard and hit them fast, hit them low. How did Campbell say it there? Got to hit them low. We got to be rabid dogs out there. His first press conference there for the Lions. I don't remember, but an absolute legend. He is goated, Grump. He's goated. That being said, thank you so much, Grumpy Old Man, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody who listened there to the live stream. Again, we will not be live this Wednesday because we'll be on the Islanders Never Say Die podcast, but we'll be live again next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the action. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again, Grumpy Old Man.
My pleasure.